Hello, this is Arturelia Anime Room Reviews. I'm Arturo, and today I'll be reviewing I think I may have heard about this anime a while back, and I didn't watch it until when Toonami got it and aired it for the month of movies in December of 2013, and I watched it, and I at least watched almost most of it until I had to hit the bed, and I recorded it and watched the rest. And I did enjoy it that night for part of it, and then finish the rest. But now, what do I think about it now? And is it for you guys? Would you like something like this? Because there is some strange things in this anime, even though it's like the most popular anime out there, and they say it's the greatest anime of all time. But is it? Well, today I'm going to review Akira. I'll give my personal opinion about how I felt about it watching it on Toonami, and then also explain another thing, showing it to my mom. Let's go.
If you want it so bad, then steal one yourself.
The story starts us off in the very beginning. The year is 1988. Some explosion goes off in Tokyo. Or was it an explosion? And it starts World War III. Many years later, in 2019, our main characters are bike riders. And the city is in riots, gangs, and violence is everywhere in this new Neo-Tokyo. Even an anti-government group that fights against the government. Though that one night, for one particular character, will mark a change for him. The character's name is Tetsuo. When he runs into a boy that looks like an old man. And by after that, a lot of stuff happens. With Kaneda, which is the main protagonist and leader of the bike riders, his group, gets thrown into this situation. And while he gets thrown into this situation, he runs across this girl that ends up joining him. I mean, she is also part of the anti-government group. As for its soundtrack, I don't know what to say about it. I think maybe the one soundtrack that I did like was the beginning soundtrack where they're riding in the city and there's a lot of chaos going around. I mean, it sounds like a 1980s type soundtrack. The story, how would I say it? The beginning was actually good. But the deeper we got into the other stuff, I mean, it has to do with supernatural stuff and psychic abilities and powers. But by the end of it, kind of close to the end and then near the end, for some of you people, you may think it's just out there and weird. And if I were to say, yes, it was weird and out there. The animation, it might be old, but for the time it is really good. I think the art, the animation is really good. Now the characters, we have a lot of them, but I'll only go through a few. Kaneda is the leader of the small bike gang, like I mentioned. Later, when his friend is captured by the government, he vows to rescue him. He's the type of character that would do anything to help his friend, and also do the right thing by even stopping him. While his friend Tetsuo, he goes through different changes. First a friend, and then he becomes the enemy after getting the power. He just loses it, and then he just becomes an asshole to his fellow biker gangs and just starts up chaos. And in the end, I could just say, spoiler alert, but his body in general. Let's just say the scene with him at the end was just out there. Extremely out there. Kei, or Kai, if I'm pronouncing it right, she was pretty interesting. She was a pretty interesting female character, and she's with the resistance group that's against the government. And she ends up joining Kaneda, and they both join up together, and then he basically just gets thrown in, and she usually is with him throughout the entire movie. But she also has her moments where she kind of would get possessed. There are many more other characters, but I'm not going to go into more details. These are basically the three main characters. Now, like I mentioned, I did enjoy it that first night on Toonami, and then I recorded the rest, and then I watched the rest. And what can I say? Well, if you're getting someone into anime and you decide to show them this film, and by the time they're done watching it, they'll probably say it's out there. And I can tell you this, I showed it to my mom, and by the time it was done, she did not like it. Because basically, like, even though the detail of the story was weird, she already mentioned that to me. And when that scene came, yes, she didn't like it. It was too weird for her and out there for her. Most might not complain about it, they just like it. I mean, I don't mind certain weird things, but maybe when it hits the level of being too out there, then I'm like, okay. I mean, it just depends. Inuyasha has weird things, but it's not overly out there. Evangelion is out there with weird stuff. I mean, maybe the first few episodes, maybe not. But by the time you hit episode 20, it just goes, eh. The movies, on the other hand, were, not too bad. But the second movie did have a little bit of that. And the third movie, yeah. Akira, on the other hand, had that problem of being out of this world. Now, I don't mind something that's, well, out of this world, because sometimes people want to escape that and enjoy something. So for this review, it's kind of hard for me to decide what I truly feel about it. It did have good elements in this film. However, with the strange stuff, I mean, if you could put up with that stuff and just don't care about it, then you will like it. The ending was a bit strange too, and I mean, it's not bad, but the strange stuff after that.
Enough! Open your eyes and look at the big picture. You're all puppets of corrupt politicians and capitalists.
Akira. People say it's a classic anime. Like I said, it had a lot of good stuff, nice animation, while on the other hand, it was a little bizarre. And some people may feel a bit about it, while other people say it's the greatest anime of all time. But I don't know, I may just give it a 7 out of 10 just because it is good, it has some good stuff in it, but then it kind of got a little too weird at the very end, which some people will probably complain about that. I did enjoy it that night, I will say. It was fun. But it wouldn't be something I would come back to just because. Some people probably don't care that it's weird. They will just like it and have fun watching it. While others say it's too out there, they don't like it. That'll be up to the person to decide. For recommendations, I could point to maybe old classic anime series with movies, and there's the Dragon Ball films, Gundam films, and the bizarre anime film of all time, End of Evangelion. This movie was crazy nonsense, out there, bizarre, and very mature. And I watched this film when I was 14 years old. Yeah. And I saw a lot of crazy stuff in that film. So you may find something here that you may like. I don't know if you want to avoid the End of Evangelion. That's up to you. Well, this is Arturelia Anime Room Reviews, signing off.